Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Lessons with Troy, the podcast. I'm your host, Troy Brenningmeyer. This week, I'm happy to welcome back Alan Akaka for another episode of Hawaiian Steel Guitar Talk Story. If you want to learn more about Alan and his school for Hawaiian music, you can visit his site at kekulamele.com. We're going to kick off this episode with my performance of his arrangement of the song Kaula Ili, also known as Kanaka Nui. If you want to learn how to play this song, we're offering the tablature, jam track, and performance track on my other site, onlinelessonvideos.com. Also, if you're interested in learning more about playing lap steel, dobro, Weissenborn, or pedal steel, be sure to check out my site, lessonswithtroy.com. Right now, here's the song Kaula Ili, followed by Talk Story with Alan Akaka. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Once again, let's make welcome Alan Akaka, all the way from Hawaii.
Aloha.
Aloha. What have you been up to?
Oh boy. Well, we just had our Steel Guitar Festival in Waikiki not too long ago. It was great. It started like at 11 o'clock in the morning, ended at 9 p.m. It's one of the longer ones. In fact, the longest one that we've had, other than stretching a few days. But for the Waikiki Steel Guitar Festival, it was by far the longest one. It was great, well attended. Being that it was at our new venue at the Royal Hawaiian Center, which is right in the heart of Waikiki, right in front of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel and the Waikiki Sheraton. There was a lot of traffic, walking traffic, because the shopping center is right on Kalakaua Avenue, the main avenue going through Waikiki.
Okay.
A lot of people walking in, walking out, and so on. There were some people who actually stayed for several hours. There was one family that stayed from beginning to end. It was like, wow, this is great. Great for the steel guitar community. We had, many of the masters, unfortunately, not all of the masters Not everyone could make it. We also featured members of the next generation. It started with members of the next generation, like from elementary school age, still guitar players, till the end of the evening. It ended with somebody who I think he just turned 21. He's been
Oh,
playing
okay.
steel guitar for a handful of years, learned from Ronald Kanahele, and he's doing really well. He plays slack key, he plays steel guitar, he sings, a great talent, and he's a member of the Abrigo Ohana. Uh, it's a family, sister, young brother, mother playing bass. So self-contained family unit playing music,
Oh,
and the
cool.
sister has a great voice. Sings like some of the old timers like Genoa Keave and so on. So they they have a good mix of material. But when he got on the steel guitar, he played a lot of the old tunes, Hilo March, and so on. It was good. Nice to see that. So we have a young crop of steel guitarists coming out of Hawaii. I'm still working on more, trying to bring get them up there and so on. And luckily, in the case of one of my students, Alexis Tolentino, she's actually working with some artists. They've contacted her, wanted her to be a steel guitar backup for them, and I thought this is great. She's still in high school,
Oh,
and
how
and she's
cool.
playing with some top names.
Yeah.
So so that is really nice to see. And it's a great learning experience for her and so on. So every time she comes in for a lesson, we go over a few things for that. Plus, new solos. But she's doing wonderful. And not only that, Alexis can do the hula. She knows a lot of songs. She plays ukulele. She plays keyboard. She's a bassist in her high school orchestra. So
Wow.
this girl has yeah, she has a great future in music, and plus she wants to go into you know um pharmaceutical medicine and so on. So that's fantastic. But
Oh, that's great.
yeah, it's nice to see our young talent emerging and so on.
Yeah.
And it's great to see some of my pals coming out and playing, and I could just sit back and relax and listen to them as he played, sang. I mean, bringing out some of the old Hawaiian tunes that you don't hear on the radio much anymore. The old stuff, the
Yeah.
traditional stuff, as well as some new things, like Greg Sardina, for example. He played something for the Beatles. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I call that the other side of Hawaiian music. But that's Greg Sardina, and of
Yeah, I
course
love his
Bobby
arrangements.
Ngano. In his sweet, smooth style, playing the song that many people request of him, and that's "Sleepwalk." He does it better
Yeah.
than anybody else I know here. You know, so I think you would have enjoyed being there all day yourself, right? Right, Troy?
Absolutely.
And we had a special guest who joined us for the weekend. The person who wrote this book,
Oh, nice. Okay.
John Troutman. We brought him in for the festival, and he even
Mm-hmm.
gave a lecture. It was open to the public; anybody could come, and he was selling his books. So I actually have the books. He signed the books for me, and if anybody wants to get them, it's $35 plus shipping. Just let me know, or they can go through you, and you can
Yeah.
let me know. But this is a great book, starting with the origins of or the origins of the steel guitar, and it brings it all the way to 2014. I guess at that point you have to stop writing and get the book out. Um,
S- So
but
who's that on the cover?
on the cover right here, you have on the steel guitar. His name is Bobby Nichols, and Bobby Nichols was also in a group called the Polynesians out of Los Angeles, Hollywood. Yeah,
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I got one of their albums. Yeah.
right. So Bobby playing the steel guitar, and then Harry Beatty on the guitar, or maybe the bass, and then the other player is Sam Kaapuni. So the trio, and they had great arrangements. Then this is George Kainapau, a very famous falsetto singer out of Hawaii, who also was in Hollywood too for a while. Beautiful, beautiful voice. This person over here, the guitarist, is Lonnie McIntyre, who had his own orchestra. In fact, Jimmy Rogers, when recording, I think in New York, hired Lonnie's band to back him up. And there was a steel guitarist who played on that recording. It's the first time that a steel guitarist or a steel guitar was used on a country recording. Again, with Jimmy Rogers. The steel guitarist was Hawaiian.
Wow.
And then the bass player is Al McIntyre, who's Lonnie's brother. Now, if you recognize that name, McIntyre, it's perhaps because if you're a steel guitarist, you might know their steel guitar brother's name, Dick McIntyre.
That's what I was thinking.
So the McIntyre brothers, guitar, bass, and then Dick played the steel guitar. Actually, all three of them could play steel guitar. And what's so neat is that Al McIntyre's daughter lives here, not far from me, maybe 15 minutes away. Her name is Lonnie McIntyre too, and she lived in New York, danced at the New York establishments over there, including I think Hotel Lexington, as well as in Hollywood, where she spent most of her time. And she has a lot of stories about the performers there in New York and in Hollywood, all these Hawaiian Polynesian entertainers. And her son is a student of mine for the steel guitar.
Very cool.
So, if anybody in the family is keeping up with the steel guitar, it's her son. So just like, her uncle Dick McIntyre, at least, it's going on in the family. It didn't die with Dick. So anyway, and then I think you know who this is.
Oh, yeah.
Bing Crosby?
I was thinking Fred Astaire for some reason.
Bing Crosby. This is from the movie Waikiki Wedding, where a few songs like Hula Heaven came out. Blue Hawaii. That came out of that movie. The same Blue Hawaii that the King of Rock and Roll sang, and the movie he shot back in early 1960. The movie Blue Hawaii came out of. Yeah, same song. And he also sang a song that would, in the next year, and that is 1938, would win the Oscar for the best song in the movie, and that's Sweet Leilani. So anyway,
great tune.
It's a great book. By the way, John Troutman, who wrote the book, he said he had so much material he couldn't put it all in the book. There was so much that he left out. And I mean, talking about how the steel guitar influenced so many, especially in the Deep South, because he was saying, and he found this. It was he found it in the archives and so on. That there would be this Hawaiian music company down there in the Deep South, and they would break up into little groups and go from town to town to put on their little presentation, their show, and so on. And there was an interview with an old-time blues player. And he was saying, he remembers as a child, the Hawaiian guitar. And that influenced him in his blues. So the Hawaiian guitar being the steel guitar. It was called the Hawaiian guitar way back then, yeah. And even B.B. King said that he was influenced by the steel guitar. He didn't play the instrument himself, but, some of the things he did, he remembers hearing that on the Hawaiian guitar. So that's how the book opens, with B.B. King. And then even a famous jazz player, his name escapes me right now, Masquerade. Broadway.
I can't think of any names today.
Yeah.
George Benson.
George Benson. So anyway, I was chatting with George Benson. We were on Maui together. And he told me, and this really shocked me. He said his first instrument was the steel guitar.
Really? How cool
Who
is
would have
that?
known? His first instrument was the steel guitar.
Huh.
Yeah, and that's before he got into the guitar and jazz and so on.
Oh, I love George Benson. Yeah, he's an incredible musician.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, who would have known?
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh. So I felt so proud, and I got to play for him and everything, and then also I found out from him that he still has a steel guitar, a
I,
Canopus, just
I
just
would
like
love
one
to
of
hear
mine.
George. Wouldn't you love to hear him play
Oh
steel
yeah,
guitar? That'd be so
yeah. I
cool.
wonder what tuning he uses. That's fantastic, George Benson. Gosh,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to
Wow.
see him play Masquerade or on Broadway with the steel guitar. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably would be
yeah.
good. And anyway, yeah, that book is a really really good book. Now, I wanted to answer some of the questions, and like somebody was asking about what some tricks on the C sharp minor tuning or C sharp
Yeah.
minor 7 tuning.
Yep, yep. I just posted on Facebook if anybody had any questions, and Miles had a question. He says, "How about some tricks in C sharp minor seventh tuning?"
So I don't know what he means by tricks. Maybe knowing the fretboard better and so
Probably
on.
probably
But
licks. I would say like a fancy, something that you would play specifically in C sharp minor seventh. I would think.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know what? I have I have this Weizenborn like copy,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it here it is. I just got it. It's from Echo Canon Guitars, and anyway, I tuned this like a C sharp minor 7. Actually, it's a B minor 7 tuning, so it's just one step down. Yeah,
Yeah.
ooh, it's a little out of tune. Okay, let's see. I don't know if you can hear this so well. Can you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, this is, and just to give you a little background, when I was taking lessons from Jerry Bird, he started me from the earliest tuning, which would have been the A tuning, and then we walked through all these various tunings, going to the E tuning, the C sharp minor tuning, the E7 tuning, C sharp minor 7 tuning, the C6 tuning. Then he went on to B11. So it was in 2 summers. Jerry taught me a lot of things,
Hmm.
and so this is one tuning. Well, C sharp minor 7, which is actually more of a E9 tuning, yeah, or I should say E13 tuning. Okay, so so okay, since this is a more like a D7 tuning. Well, actually, okay, a D13 tuning, or let's just say B minor 7 tuning, whatever you prefer hearing. So you hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just make believe this is a C sharp minor 7 tuning, but mind
Sure.
you, it's one key below that. So the positions would be E, F on the first fret, G, A on the fifth fret, C would be on the eighth fret. On the 10th fret, you would have D, and then E again on the 12th fret. So in this tuning, unlike this C6 tuning, the root of the chord is on the top string. On the C6 tuning, the root is on the second string. So the third is on the top string. So anyway, so I'm not sure. Okay, tricks. Well, maybe it's good to know where positions are. You know, like if this is G, this is G, this is G, this is G, and that's G up there too. This is G, yeah, over here. I'm playing an octave with strings 2 and 4 on the slant bar, and that would be on fret 6 and 5. Because I can't do it with this tuning. Oh, by the way, I should let you know what's in this. Okay, again, making believe this top string is tuned to an E, which it's not, but making believe. This would be an E, C sharp, G sharp. That would be a D note. Okay, E, C sharp, G sharp, D, B, and E. Okay. Okay, so you got that. If I'm playing fills, again, you got to know where your chords are. So this is G, and this is C. G is on 3rd fret, C is on the 8th fret, D is on the 10th fret. I can play a song like this, Akaka Falls. Okay. Okay.
That's great.
Again, nine positions. You know, this is C, this is D. You know, and so on. Knowing where your notes are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or.
So when you said that I guess maybe I'm confused a little bit. You said that the root note is on your first string?
Right.
Okay, so what's that tuning again? How
this particular tuning on this guitar would be a D7.
Okay. D7.
A D7. So it's like a D tuning, but I took one string and I put a 7th rather than the root.
Yeah. B. You're saying B as in boy, right?
B minor 7.
B minor 7. Okay.
But again, that's not totally correct, because if it was music theory wise, if it was truly a B minor 7, then the 7th would be an A note. There's no
yeah.
you know yeah, well, there's an A note in here. This is this in essence is an A note. But actually it's more like a D 7th or D 13th chord. That being the 13th.
That's what I hear when you just play it. To me, it rings out more as a dominant chord than a minor. Almost.
Yeah, especially because of the bass. Yeah, this is a root. Yeah.
Oh, we just.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. We just got a message on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Tilka says, please thank him Thank Alan for the Steel Guitar Festival in Waikiki. It was great.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're welcome, Steve. I'm
All
glad
right,
you could
man.
join us. And you know what? Just to let everybody know that the next festival will be about the middle of July in 2017 again. But then, just check our Facebook page or our website, WaikikiSteelGuitarFestivals.com. If you're on Facebook, yeah, just type in Waikiki Steel Guitar Festivals. And you can see, the updates won't come until, many months from now. But you can almost count on the middle of July. And
Okay.
we like to we like to do it the same weekend as the big ukulele festival in Waikiki. So people who come down that weekend and want to hear music, well, that's a fantastic weekend. Steel guitar on one day, ukulele on the next day. So
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Yeah. That
yeah.
is
So
very
it's a
neat.
great deal, a great weekend to come down. So stay tuned. Yeah. So
Great.
anyway, so yeah. Yeah, and the reason why I tuned this to D7, I just wanted something a little different. I mean, I could tune it to a D tuning, straight D tuning, you know,
Yeah.
or I mean, without this, yeah, take that down to a B note. It's a C sharp. Okay, but anyway, I kind of like this tuning, getting back, making believe that this is a E13th or a C sharp minor 7th tuning. This is A, yeah. If I want to play A7, I would start on the 5th fret and go 2 frets down and play this as a lick. So that's how we would play that, yeah. Or even do this. Do a forward slant. That's actually what we would consider a 9th chord, a 9th. So going up to the 10th fret, which is a D chord. Things like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
or if I'm gonna play a vamp, And that style of playing, what I'm just doing right now, would have been was popular back in the 50s with like Barney Isaacs, Joe Zassia of Hawaii Calls. And I remember hearing recordings of Joe Zassi playing with the Tapper Room band, back in the days of the 50s, Alfred Akaka and the members of the Tapper Room Serenaders. And he would go.
That's awesome. Are you grabbing mostly 2 strings? I can't tell, or 3 strings what you were playing just then.
Combination.
Okay.
A combination of 2, 3, more. So right now this is 3, yeah.
Now,
Oh yeah.
is there things that you can do? I mean, with that tuning versus C6, that would lead you to use that tuning. I mean, what you're doing.
Based on what like Joe Zassi and Barney Isaacs played, their style, it would be very different from the C6. I mean, just just the brightness of the tuning, being that the root note is on the top string rather than second string. You realize, as you drop the root note, like in the B11th, for instance, the root note would be on the third string. So that's why the B11th is a much darker, richer tuning than say the C6 or even this. This is one of the brighter tunings because everything is played from the top string down. Or even this song. I remember Jerry Burt telling me when he was learning to play the steel guitar, he was at the movie theater, and if there was any movie with a Polynesian or Hawaiian theme, he would go out and see it. So he went and sat in there. Of course, in those days, there was a curtain in front of the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, the movie started, the curtain started opening up slowly, and he heard this. Of course, it's an electric steel guitar, so hopefully this, this sustains long enough to get the effect I want to show everybody. Yeah. He said, "Whoa, what was that?" Because he probably was using either A tuning or E tuning, and there's no way he could have gotten this chord out of any of those tunings. So, and at that point, the movie title came out, Paradise Isle. That's the name of the tune, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Paradise House. So what happened is, like Jerry says, he almost fell out of his seat. And so just to hear that opening line in the song, the glissando, he actually sat through a few showings. He watched the entire movie and waited for the next one to start. He was there all afternoon. Finally, he realized, or he kind of figured out what the chord was, or actually the tuning in his head. So he ran home, and home was not next door. It was a few miles down the road. He ran home, grabbed his steel guitar, retuned his steel guitar to the point where he could get this.
Oh, that's a great
Now talk about
story.
determination, right?
Yeah.
I mean, having, I mean, somebody, if anybody is like that, that they'll turn out good. That they're so determined that they'll do anything to learn to be able to play the instrument. And that's why Jerry Bird is one of the the greats of legends, a master of touch and tone.
Yeah.
He never gave up. He just, it was in him. He had to be with his steel guitar.
Now, was that
Right.
when he was in Ohio? Isn't
Yes.
that where he's from?
Yes. Okay. Lima, Ohio. Right. So
that
yes.
chord sorry to interrupt. That chord you're playing, is that a 3-fret slant? I'm figuring.
Well, yeah. Here.
Yeah.
So right now, 12, 11, 10. Yeah. So from the F chord again, if this was a C sharp minor tuning, strumming the F on the first fret and sliding where I would be on the top 3 strings still, frets 12, 11, 10. It was new. Cool. It was innovative in those days. It's like nobody else had that tuning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
I mean, I can do the same thing on the C6 tuning. Basically, I can, but anyway, that I actually took this instrument and played it down at Duke's restaurant, where I stroll every week with these two aunties. The one
Hmm.
is going to be 90 years old soon. One is 84, and they're still singing the old Hawaiian songs, going from table to table, serenading people. And so I thought, hey, maybe I'm going to try it. Instead of playing the upright bass, which, by the
Hmm.
way, is my first professional instrument, the bass. I
Wow.
thought maybe I'm going to try this steel guitar, see how it works.
Hmm.
In that restaurant setting. Um, I enjoyed playing this. The biggest problem is that it's really noisy in the restaurant. People are enjoying themselves. The food is great. The ambiance. Waikiki Beach is right there. People are having a wonderful time on their vacation. They're talking loud and everything. Well, they have to in order to hear each other. So playing this, I could hardly hear myself. And I think maybe I'm gonna have to put a pickup on this if I want to continue playing down at Duke's restaurant in Waikiki, and with a little amp strapped next to me or whatever, because otherwise it'll be hard for me or anybody else to hear. And yet, when I was playing, people were watching. It's like I could see behind, or in their brain, people are thinking, "Wow, what instrument is that? Wow, that is neat."
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when I took instrumentals, and I started, just fooling around, like you know, uh, uh, uh. Anyway, just fooling around. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I had fun, but unfortunately, it was just so hard to hear. But anyway, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
Echo
what song you
Canyon
got
Park.
for
That's
us?
what it is. Echo Los Angeles, California.
Oh, I interrupted you. What'd you say again? One more
No,
time?
Echo Canyon Park. That's where this is from. Echo Park Guitars. I should get that right. Yeah. Anyway, so you know, Gabriel sent this to me. Gabriel Curry. He owns it. He builds the guitars himself.
Hmm.
Um, I've seen. Oh boy, he builds beautiful guitars. He wants to get into the Hawaiian guitars, so he built this. This is actually number one.
Oh,
So
cool. Yeah.
he wanted me to try it out. So he sent it to me, and so I am trying it out. Yeah. Fun. Something I don't usually play, an acoustic
Yeah. Oh,
guitar.
it sounds great. Like you play it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I may play it more often.
Yeah. What song you got for us this week?
Well, the song I have is called Kaula Ili, or Kanaka Nui. Just to tell you about this song, back in the 1830s, the vaquero were hired and brought over to Hawaii because we had a cattle problem on the Big Island, on Hawaii Island. And let me go back a little further. Captain George Vancouver, who was part of Captain Cook's entourage, well, he came back to Hawaii and he brought some cattle, and they were gifts to King Kamehameha. And there were only about, I think, four, both male and female. And so Kamehameha put a ban or kapu or taboo on the animals. what happened is that they multiplied and they started roaming around the island. And because they couldn't be touched, they were smart enough to realize that because they couldn't be touched, they were awfully aggressive with the people. And so it was getting kind of dangerous. Therefore, Kamehameha the Third, that's Kamehameha's son, Kamehameha the Third, hired these vaquero, shipped them over, and their job was to teach the locals how to lasso, how to make saddles, and so on, and pretty much, how to capture these cattle. The cattle were called pipi. Yeah, and in fact, we still call cattle, beef, pipi. Okay. Anyway, so anyway, these cattle or pipi. Yeah. The natives or the locals learn how to do this and so on, and they were called eventually paniolo after Espanol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so anyway, the paniolo. There were some songs written about the paniolo and so on. For example, one is called Wyomina, and Wyomina is Wyoming in Hawaiian. And what happened is that they had a rodeo there, and a small group of paniolo went over to Wyoming. How they got there and how long it took them, I'm sure it took them a while because they would have to catch a boat over to the West Coast and then catch a train over to Wyoming. Well, so they were not as big as some of their counterpart cowboys from all over at this rodeo, this competition. But in the end, and then probably they were looked down upon, like, oh, look at these guys, who are they? In the end, they earned a lot of respect because they took like first and second place.
Oh, cool.
So the song was written, Wyomina. Yeah. This song in particular that I'm gonna do is called Kaula Ili. Now Kaula is rope or string. Ili is skin. So you could figure out, wow, skin, rope. Oh, must be leather.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Or in this case, a lasso. Now, another name for this is Kanaka Leo Nui. Kanaka is person, Leo is voice, Nui is big. So, or much. In this case, big voice. So, that was the name of the hill. Now, as in Hawaiian songs, sometimes there's a double meaning. A song is written, there's a surface meaning, and then there's an underlying meaning. But anyway, this song talks about, getting the lasso ready. Ho'omaka Kaula Ili, prepare your lasso. Iluna oka pu'uka nakaleo nui, up there at Kanakaleo Nui Hill. E ho'olohe ikikaniana manu, hear the voices of the birds. Now, probably it's not birds. Okay, hear the voices of the birds. Oh, never mind. And so there's an English part to it, yeah. What is it? Oh, never. Let's see. Oh, never mind. Keia, uahiki no. I'm trying to get the words again. Gee, I guess I'm losing it too.
Yeah, we're having the same problem today.
Yeah, isn't that something? Oh, never mind. Wahina pu hiki no. Hiki no. Yeah, uhiki no. It's finished. It's done. It's okay. Wahina pu. So. Oh, never mind. You will fall. It is done. I guess. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but anyway, so this is a cowboy song, obviously, again, about the lasso and so on. So I wrote this song in the tuning that my teacher used, Jerry Bird. It's a C6A7 tuning. He used to call it the C6 7th tuning. And the C6 7 tuning basically is a C6 on the top, based on 6 strings. C6 on the top 5 strings with a C sharp added on the bottom string, the 6th string. Yeah. And what happens is if you strum the top 5 strings, you'll get a C6 tuning. If you strum the bottom 4 strings, you'll get an A7 tuning.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like this. If I can grab my other steel guitar, and you can hear what it sounds like. So right now I have a straight C6 tuning, and I'm only going to use the top 6 strings for this.
Okay.
So there we go. So you would hear Jerry do things like this. That's a rich 7th chord.
Yeah, that's great.
And something about this tuning. Okay, so again, it's E, C, A, G, E, and then C sharp. So if my G chord's on the 7th fret, and I play the top 5 strings there, I got a G chord. Now, if I go to the 5th fret, in other words, back up 2 frets, and I play the bottom 4 strings, I get the 5-7 chord, or the D7. So let me play something from here, from this song. And again, it's a beautiful song. It's in the waltz. And it goes like this. I'm sorry. So that's the introduction, and it goes on into letter A. And it goes on and on and on, and then it gets a little more involved and so on.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a beautiful song reminiscent of the 19th century in Hawaii. And there's not very many cowboy songs or paniolo songs that we know of. There are several, of course, compared to country music or Western swing. There's a lot more. But in Hawaii, not as many. And they're a little different, and so on. So anyway, yeah.
Gorgeous tune.
So yeah, that'll be a great one. Now, real quick, yeah, before we end this session, somebody asked about my favorite rigs. Okay, my instruments, amps, effects, and so on. So let's see if I can do this in a few minutes. Okay, the instrument that, and by the way, this is from Terry Van Cannon, And he asked a month ago. And so finally, I get to answer the question.
Yeah.
So I like to use my electric steel guitar. Of course, this is an Akaka signature model by Asher. And why use it? Well, why do I use a single instead of a double or triple? Well, I can use a double and triple, but I just love the tone on this guitar and how it feels. I mean, that's how I designed it anyway. So anyway, Bill Asher did a wonderful job with this steel guitar. None of that, it's a lot lighter. Sorry to say. When I was younger, it didn't matter. Weight didn't matter. What do I like to use for an amp? When I'm doing gigs outside, if there's a sound system, I will use a mini amp. And one in particular that I really like, and I've tried many, and I have actually a small collection of mini amps. So I have this one by Yamaha. It's a THR-10.
Oh, okay.
Now, I went down to the store, took my steel guitar, and I tried so many different steel guitars. And this one, steel guitars, amplifiers. This one in particular, I like. I mean, there's many different settings on this amplifier. And when I played it by itself in the music store, I went, wow, this has a nice tone for the low notes. I really like it. And after trying all of them, I decided on the Yamaha. I mean, I love the Roland's. I love the Roland Mobile. And it sounds great on my 6-string steel guitars, especially my fry pan. But I needed something that could give me more boom on the low notes, and this did. Now, that being said, going into the sound system with bigger speakers, it acts just like I have a 15-inch speaker on my amplifier cabinet.
Yeah.
So I get a nice boom on the bass on that. Plus, if you can see the settings I have on here, that's basically what I use down at the Marriott when I play there. I for this steel guitar at least, I use these settings for the high, middle, and low. And then another thing, switching it on, by the way, I put it on acoustic. I find that acoustic for the electric guitar sounds really good for that Hawaiian sound. So, and isn't that cute? That orange light in there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Isn't that so retro?
Is your gain and master always up all the way like that?
Yeah. I mean, either I'm going to do it on this or I'm going to do it on the system board. Either one. So, but if I'm playing just with this, yes, I pump it up. So I use this for reverb. I don't like it too wet. So anyway, yeah. And yet, when I hear, when I hear some other players like in Europe, Japan, man, or even in the mainland, boy, they use a lot of reverb. I'm uncomfortable with that. If you listen to the steel guitars of back, several decades, those amps didn't have any reverb.
Yeah.
In fact, some didn't even have a volume control. Like the old Rickenbacker amplifiers, you just plugged in and used the volume control on the instrument. So I want to sound closer to that. So when it comes to reverb, it's very light for me. For in my office, I love to use my twin reverb, and the reverb on that, I set it to maybe 3.5, 4, no more than that. I put on a lot of bass and very little. I minimize the treble and the mids, and just like Jerry used to do that too.
Okay.
And I love that sound, that fat, rich sound. So anyway, I hope that helps, and I hope all the audience out there, if they have any other questions, please, please email Troy, and we can talk about it at our next podcast.
Yeah, or Facebook, or
Facebook,
any of that kind of stuff.
Yes, we can do that. But anyway, so I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Hawaii weather right now is really nice. It's in the upper 80s with trade winds, blue skies, and so on. So if it gets too hot wherever you are, hey, catch a flight over here. The beaches are great. And the trade winds feel really nice. Okay, so take care, Troy. Take care, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Aloha.